This podcast is not a substitute for medical advice by a qualified physician. Namaste, I'm Kanika and today let's talk about what we can do before the vaccine for coronavirus arrives. Let's look at some of the past decades. We have seen so many serious disease outbreaks. And there has to be a way because vaccines always take a longer duration to develop. The concept of vaccine has two aspects. The first aspect is vaccination, where we insert some kind of antigen inside the body. Now this antigen can be special molecule from pathogens, dead pathogen or live attenuated form of pathogen. And second aspect is role of the body, where it identifies the pathogen and develops an antibody for it. So in a way, vaccine is not exactly a cure for a disease. It is just an artificial method to trigger the immunity of the body, and then the immune system of the body makes the antibodies that are actually required to kill the virus or any pathogen. Because the fact is that we are not capable of making antibodies outside the body. We can only trigger the immunity. But then there are so many people who are actually infected by this coronavirus and yet they are asymptomatic because their immune system was strong enough to handle the virus and keep it at check. And there is one very important question: can we all do it? And if yes, then how? Immunity is the reason why the slum children living by the side of gutter survive and even thrive, sometimes even better than kids living in very hygienic conditions, because they have a very strong immunity. And even a common cold virus can kill an HIV person because he has low immunity. So immunity is the key for survival against any disorder. And coronavirus has underlined the role of immunity. The elderly people, especially about 75 years of age, have the highest death rate as their natural immunity is lower as compared to children or youth. Besides, people suffering from severe illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac disorders have a significantly higher death rate as compared to people with no comorbidity. It is always advised not to get vaccinated when you are sick or suffering from a fever, because when you are sick, your body is already fighting one battle, and vaccines will provide more toxins or more pathogens inside the body, and the body will have to shift its focus from one battle to the other battle. Therefore, vaccines also work on the basis of immunity. If there is no immunity, even the vaccines are useless. According to Ayurveda, there can be countless number of diseases given the complexity of our metabolic system. And even with a modern perspective, there can be countless number of mutations, pathogenic mutations in all kind of microbes. And therefore, in every few years, we'll have a new virus, a new fatal virus. Here the vaccine has a little problem. You cannot develop a vaccine for an unknown pathogen. And normally, vaccines are developed only after a significant number of people are infected by a particular pathogen. However, it is a dangerous approach, because in this manner, a vaccine will develop only after a pathogen has killed a certain number of people. And therefore, vaccination is a great solution, but it is regressive in nature. It is always behind schedule. And with more frequent outbreaks of pathogens, new forms of pathogens, we need a more aggressive solution along with vaccination. Vaccination is an artificial support for developing immunity so that we can develop the technique to fight the real pathogen. But what if we are able to enhance the immunity so that we are ready for any unknown pathogen anytime? Now here is another perspective. Any pandemic or epidemic is a vaccination drive by nature. And what if you are able to encounter the virus and your body is able to identify the virus and develop its antibody all at the same time in a very short duration? Then you will not fall sick. And this is something which we can call a perfect state of immunity. And what if your body can do that? Is it not safer and more effective? Because in that case, you will not have to wait for the vaccines. And in this context, Ayurveda or any form of natural medicine has a very aggressive approach, because it does not focus on the pathogen outside. It focuses on the body. It focuses on the innate immunity to enhance the immunity and preserve the health of the healthy irrespective of the external conditions. And that's why whether it is coronavirus, Zika, bird flu, SARS or any new form of fatal pathogen, your body will be able to encounter the pathogen, self-vaccinate itself instantly, and you will not fall sick. You might get the infection, the virus might get inside your body, but you will stay asymptomatic. And we have already seen many such cases in case of coronavirus. There are people who are infected, but they are not falling sick. If a person has great immunity, he will be able to develop a resistance instantly without any vaccination, and this is the direction in which we should look at, because we don't know when the coronavirus vaccine is going to actually be there. And do you think coronavirus is the last one? There can be an endless chain of such mutated viruses every few years. And what if the drug resistant pathogens attack? We don't even have proper medicines for them. And therefore, the only long term, short term and real solution is to make the body so strong that it will be able to fight off any and every pathogen. Period.